This is the musical mandala. The theme of this video is the basics of chord inversions. What are they? How are they constructed? What are their effects in terms of stability and mobility? And how can you use them in your own music? In a nutshell, this is a regular chord, and this is an inversion. Thank you. Good night. Actually, let's elaborate a little bit. So how are inversions constructed? And also, how are they named? So we'll start from scratch. And the first thing that we'll establish is our root. Now the root is in the bass in this situation, which makes this a root position chord. Once we add a third, and then a fifth. And now we have a complete triad. The varying sizes of the spheres in this diagram represents how much gravity or weight each tone has, the root having the most weight. Now, again, this triad is a root position triad, where the root and the bass are the same. To make the root position triad into a first inversion, the third's going to stay where it is, the fifth is going to stay where it is, and we're going to take the root up top. Now, the bass note on the bottom is other than the root note, and this is called an inversion. In this case, the first inversion. And because the third is the least stable element of a triad, the first inversion is the least stable form of a chord. And we'll explore this more later. Now, how do we get from the first inversion to the second inversion? Well, sol goes across, or the fifth goes across, I mean. The root goes across, and now the third is going to go up top. And this gives us the second inversion. Now, if we were to repeat this process one more time, what would happen? We would have a root position triad an octave up, and you can go up and down through the inversions. And this is how they're made and how they're named. Now let's shift from the general idea of a triad to a particular triad, in this case, C major. So again, we'll start with the root. In this case, it's a C. The third is E, and the fifth is G. And the way we would write this chord, quite simply, is C. Now, to make the first inversion of C major, E stays where it is, the third. G, the fifth, stays where it is. And now C, the root, is going to go up top. And because this chord is built on the third, which is an E, we're going to call it C over E. That's the first inversion of C. Now, to make the second inversion, fifth comes across. C also stays where it is. And we're going to take the third up top. And now the fifth, G, is our bass note. And because the triad, or the rest of the chord, is built on top of that, we'll call this C over G. And that's how you'll see inversions written on the chart. Now I'd like to do some guided listening explorations with you. The first one is going to explore stability and mobility using the most stable of our chord voicings, which is just C in the root position, and the least stable or most mobile of our chord voicings, C over E, the first inversion. So I'm going to play between C and C over E, and you listen. And what you're listening for is, did we just shift from relative stability to relative mobility? Or did we shift in the opposite way from relative mobility, or a sense of being unfinished, to relative stability, or sense of stable home? So here's stability to mobility. It ended up feeling a little unfinished. And here's mobility to stability. And I'll just play back and forth between the two chords. And you, either in your head or out loud, name it. Like, that was stability to mobility. That was mobility to stability. And I'll start with the root position chord. Guided listening number 2. So this time I'll go between C in the root position and C with G in the bass, or the second inversion chord. And same thing, listen for stability to mobility, for example. And for the reverse, the sense of coming from a relatively unstable place back home. Keeping in mind that every chord I'm playing has only C's, E's, and G's, just in different orders or different voicings. So here we go, guided listening number 2. Either think it in your head or name it out loud. We went from stability to mobility, or we just went from relative mobility to stability. Now let's do a jamming exploration. And to do this, I'll play a high C, and you, on whatever instrument you're playing, guitar, bass, piano, just play the bass note. And the bass note you play is going to determine how the chord is experienced by the listener, how stable and how mobile. So you've got C, you've got E, and you've got G to play around with. 1, 2, 3, 4. Of course, you could rewind that and do it a bunch of times. Or get together with a friend and have them play a high C and you play the bass notes. Or put it on a looper. All sorts of ways to explore this idea. And I hope you enjoyed this introduction to the basics of chord inversions. Thanks for listening.